I think of it like this, right? So when you see someone on the street wearing a Rolex, you know what sort of community they belong to. Or like, Birkin plays these stupid game for a bag. There's
Hmm.
they just like hide
Hmm.
bags on purpose, make girls chase around, buy other things before they introduce you the possibility of buying a bag. So for me, like NFT is the Rolex of this generation. It
Hmm.
represents it represents the community, what that community does, the status, and yeah, what they about.
Alrighty, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Token Talks. You've got Todd Pierce here and Jared Park, and today we are joined by an amazing guest. Her name is Hannah, and she is a co-founder of Arbela. Welcome, and thanks for joining us tonight. Hannah, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, well, now that we've got past our technical issues, let's just get straight into it. So, Hannah, talk to us about Arbela and how you, I guess, got to the place where you are now. Like, what made you want to start Arbela? What's your background? What led you to here?
Yeah, sure. Let's go back. Yeah, I didn't really start straight away in Web3. I started in more of the academic space. So I was doing economics research at UWA, the University of Western Australia. Then I published my thesis and then realized that I had no social skills. So I was like,
Ah,
okay, cool. Now it's time to go get a job. So I went into finance first, finance advisory. And I love to do things with finance, but I didn't like how the industry was moving. It was old. There's not a lot of innovations going on, and it's also very exclusive to,
yes.
especially to like people, younger people. So then I met up with my co-founder. We know each other since 2017 in London, but we will always catch up. And at the same time, he had very similar feelings to what I was going through. We didn't want to work like our 9 to 5. So we were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's start a business. So that's where Arbela was born. Um, and I suppose Arbela is an invite only platform where young investors like Millennial and Gen Z can come together and exchange deal flow, crowdsource, due diligence, and really lean onto that collective intelligence to generate market research and reports as well. And so, yeah, we about 300 members strong, and the community is
Nice.
growing well. Yeah, that's about us.
Nice. So, it's funny how you kind of chucked in there the whole, I didn't want to do a 9 to 5, so I started a business, and now you do a
So we
nine
do
till nine, right?
24/7.
24/7.
That's
That's
I
right.
feel personally I
Smart.
feel triggered by that.
Since the inception of Arbella, you've got 300, you're 300 strong in your community now. I guess, what's that journey been like from, I guess, an idea to where you are now? And I guess, what's the next steps that you foresee?
Yeah, the core idea has always been there, which is to help myself as a young investor and other young investors learn about investing, learning about like early stage investing specifically. But the way that we did it, it's kind of changed when we interview our customers, our potential users. Then the process has changed a lot. Then we entered this accelerator called Plus Eight. From then, our mentors really helped us like flesh out the idea how we're going to bring this to market.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're pretty confident with our product launch. It's going to launch in about 6 weeks or so.
That's really cool. So the idea of, I guess, providing a service to younger people that are looking to invest, because obviously, like, yeah, when I guess when you say younger, what age demographic are you looking at?
Hmm. So millennials to Gen Z. So a study came out that showed that 70% of millennial investors DIY their own research.
Makes
That's
sense.
a huge mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. So current platforms at the moment that's in existence are your Twitter, your Discord, your Facebook groups. They and Reddit as well, like Wall Street bets and stuff, as you can see, like how it just exponentially grew.
Yep.
So we saw that trends there, and we want to provide like a more I suppose like well-built platform to discuss investment and learn about investments
Yep.
than what is already available.
Right.
And to
So
say that Wall Street bets is an interesting one to include. I think you're gonna slightly higher than the average level of financial advice that you're getting off Wall Street bets in particular. But
Yeah.
it seems like you've got some good intelligence going on.
So to the best of my understanding, you provide almost an analysis service. Is that right?
Yeah, some people call us like, do you know Nansen.ai?
No, I haven't personally seen that.
So it's kind of like a data analytics that goes behind, projects and using AI to analyze them. So for us, it's like using collective intelligence to analyze early stage projects because they don't have a lot of data available. They What works is humans coming together, working together to generate these reports instead.
Right, got you. So I guess the accelerator that you were part of, was that like a Web3 accelerator?
It was so weird to call it Web2, but traditional companies. So it's backed by the big boys like RAC, Woodside, and older companies in WA. Because if you're from WA, money comes from mining, right?
Gina Reinhardt.
Yeah.
So
Actually, my co-founder, no, I would say, but yeah, my co-founder works for Gina Reinhardt. How typical is that? That's what you get when you come from Perth.
there's nothing wrong with that. She's got a bit of extra money after not sponsoring, who was it, the netball players? So I guess from your perspective, how do you see collective intelligence being harnessed and leveraged by decentralized communities?
Yeah, interesting question. So, what is collective intelligence, right? It's when the ability of a group of people to come together to solve problems and make decisions that's more effective than an individual entity. So, how it harness and leverage within the decentralized communities is that decentralized communities promotes diversity. And with this come with people from different backgrounds, different expertise, and this diversity enables the community to capture more information than an individual. And decentralized communities tend to have governance protocols that allow people to vote and collectively make decisions so
Yep.
that the best ideas rise to the top. And they
Yep.
usually have collaborative platforms like Arbela. We have our purpose-built platform for where members can easily share their information and ideas. Do you have anything
Right.
to add to that, Jared?
Around the general concept or around the way that you guys are implementing it?
Oh, it's in like how collective intelligence can be like harnessed from decentralized communities.
Yeah, it's the wisdom of the crowd, right? So at the end of the day, it's almost like realistically, it's kind of like de-risking through diversification, right? If you hone in on a single analyst, it's kind of like stocks. If you don't know the market, then you probably shouldn't put much money into a single asset class or a single, investment. But you jump in on like an ETF or an index fund or something like that. You've diversified, you spread out the risk, you're more likely to get it right on average, right? Now, I don't know who the analysts are in your community. I don't know. Maybe there's one in there that's really not worth his salt. There's another that's absolutely brilliant. But I'm pretty sure that I can trust that on average, the average of the people in your group are going to do quite well at what they do, right? So yeah, I think it's a pretty powerful move. It actually brings to mind. Did you ever either of you guys ever see the proposals around decentralized judicial processes? Right, when they were basically going to be using on-chain like DAOs to replace judges, which
Oh, wow.
you hear, yeah, you hear something like that, you're like, oh, okay, no, this is just too far, right? This is ridiculous. And you looked into how they were incentivizing it, and it was basically the problem is that they don't have kind of the legal background with it. And I think that's probably why it can get any traction. But in terms of fairness, the idea was, and I can't remember exactly how they incentivized it because it was through tokens, but they incentivized it through if you're trying to make a decision that's fair and the majority of people are going to make that fair decision, then the majority of people receive the rewards. If you're making the unfair decision, then you won't receive the rewards, right? I have to look more into it, but it's one of those things that sounds counterintuitive, but then when you look into how powerful the wisdom of the crowd is, it's actually very, very, very strong play.
But then what do you think? What do you think about like cancel culture with something like that?
Oh, that's a Todd question for sure.
Look, that's a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Do you know?
100%.
Do you know? I hate to turn that one around because we start going down cancel culture, we start talking business, it gets political, and suddenly, we get cancelled. So, but how do you provide safeguards either through, because you can have positive and negative feedback mechanisms, right? So, how do you provide safeguards against people effectively gaming the system in Arbela?
So it's like you're asking me, how do we prevent like people just coming on and giving like bad reports or just trying to
Yeah,
manipulate?
you could get like AstroTurf, for example. You've got a startup coming up, they want to raise a bunch of money. It turns out they're a massive rug pull, so they send a bunch of kind of human bots into the servers to fake up a few good-looking reports and then push their project forward. And which I'm
100%.
not saying is likely, but have you got kind
Yeah,
of security measures in place, or at least
yeah,
kind of it's the incentivization part, right? It's like Bitcoin, make it more worth your time to do the right thing than it is to try and defraud the system.
yeah. So how we thought about this a lot, and we thought the sort of like similar to a clubhouse invitation only. So when you get let's say a user get invited, then that user gets about like 3 or 6 referrals. We haven't decided on the exact amount. And then that user there can refer their friends. So there's that level of trust there. And obviously, the initial users will be handpicked by us. So we'll go through and vet the communities. So that will hopefully take out the degens like shillers, scam people. And then second is we came up with this like reputation system. At the start, it'll be a little bit more simple, just with you have to add your LinkedIn, you have to add your social media to verify who you are. And in order to actually voice your opinions on report, you need to prove your credentials as well. So you need to be a financial expert, you need to be working in a startup,
Yeah.
you need to have some sort of like experience ties to whatever you're saying will be legit. I hope
Nice.
that answers the question.
Yeah, it
So
makes me feel like Arbela 2.0 is going to be like the invite-only LinkedIn of the Web3 space. Cool.
So by financial expert, you mean they're like a licensed financial provider, right?
So at the moment, we're targeting informed um, like financial experts. So not your professional, by Australian definition of a professional investor, but let's say someone that works in financial services or they are a VC analyst, an aspiring angel investor,
Yep.
um, or a finance students, or they're doing their, I suppose, like their MBA could be masters in, like, say, applied economics or something like that. I don't know why that came up to my head, but yeah, that's who we are looking at to add to our community.
So you've got that baseline criteria set yet? Is that set in stone, or are you kind of still massaging that out?
We starting from that
Yep.
and then see what sort of value they provide, and
Yep.
then whether we would expand or keep the people that we want to be in there. That depends on the community and how others respond.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because this whole idea of collective intelligence, like, I'm sure you've heard the saying, right? Like, if you want to have a good idea, put like two smart people in a room. If you want to have a great idea, then you put like 15 intelligent people in a room and you let them spitball, right? So the more people that have got a certain degree of expertise in a given field that are working together with like hyper focus, the better the output typically will be, right? So input equals output. So I think that's useful when it comes to assessing things such as early stage startups and investments, especially when you're then giving that advice. So hang on, I want to make sure that I specify my thought correctly. So people that come, so say I'm a user for Arbela, right? And I'm I'm obviously a lot older than your demographic. I'm like an old man.
Really?
But let's pretend for a minute that I'm not this old. And I'm like your target market, right? So am I joining Arbela and then getting access to reports? Am I getting advice? Like, what am I getting as an end user?
Okay, so there's a few ways that the platform we imagine it to be used. So it
Yep.
needs to be tested still. That's why we're launching our beta and we'll be gathering information from the community members as well. But this is how I imagine the users would use it. Let's say you're a VC, you're just starting out, you're small, you don't have the budget to hire a full-time analyst. You
Mm,
jump on Arbella, you put out a bounty, someone do this research for me on this specific topic from this project. So usually VCs, they are investors, and they usually quite focus into a theme as well. So it'd be
yep.
handful to have experts in other field coming in. Let's say you know nothing about AI. You can put out a bounty for someone that knows about AI to do the research for you and maybe teach you something as well. So
Yep.
that's one way. Another way is
So,
another
so for
community
so
member.
for so for example, someone could be a VC that is interested in prop tech, right? They like real
Hmm,
estate, they like tech, they
hmm.
don't necessarily have the time to research a project themselves. They would then put up the bounty. Is that right?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
community then will come in and they'll do all the research and present the reports. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So let's say someone like myself who is thinking about investing in property, and I don't know a lot about investing in property. So I would go in, put a bounty, and say, "Hey, is Black Tie Digital a good project? Can someone look into it for me? How does the tokenomics work? What do I get out of it? I don't see like what's the future? Can someone advise me?" And then
Yep.
someone else with the expertise would come in and provide that report,
Yep.
or even a collection of people can come in and provide that report for that person, aka me.
Yes. Cool. That's really cool. And it's you can see a beagle walking in the background. Bunny blurred out. So, this I think, this is such a great thing. And I feel like this is something that people should have had back in like 2017, 18, right? And like the ICO wild, wild west. Because
Cool.
effectively what this does is it allows the average person to affect, because can the average person sign up that has an interest in, let's just talk about crypto because we're talking about blockchain, right? So do you envision like the average lay person being able to join Arbella? They've got $15,000 that they want to invest into something. They're interested in AI, as you said. Would the average person be able to join and then say, look, here's a $1,000 bounty, go do all the research for me? Is that how you kind of see it working?
Yeah, so like our vision is alternative assets,
Mm,
and Web3 sits as a small proportion of that. So essentially, we're trying to like have a track record first in this
yep.
space, and then we hope to expand out. And then again, like our community, we only select like high value community members and then have that track record and then able to expand out to your average Joe.
Wonderful. Yeah, that.
I was just going to say, one of the things I think is actually really cool about Arbella when I think about it is the fact that you guys are, it's interesting what you just said, Todd, about like having these kind of access to these resources back in, the 17, 18 ICO craze, so forth, because you guys are like it's an iteration, it's an evolution, and it's because investor groups aren't necessarily something new, right? But incentivized investor groups with a high degree of transparency, where you can not only leverage the wisdom of the crowd, but you can see the crowd coming together in order to provide that wisdom, right? We're in this age where social media means everybody's connected, your profiles are public, everybody's kind of has a degree of not that it always works in the crypto space, but it should be a degree of kind of personal responsibility. And then you've got blockchain, which is sort of designed around transparency, and it's that real kind of like next step, as opposed to look, we just came up with this idea out of the blue. It's completely untested. No one knows how it's work. No, we've got this idea and we think that it's even better than the ideas that came before it, which, interestingly, was even realistically where Bitcoin came from. It was like, hey, it's this crazy revolution. Well, there was hash cash before it, right? They built, we're all standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say, right? But it's a really cool way to evolve something like that in a really strong way.
Absolutely. And I think it's, well, me as an investor, I can't get that from my financial advisor, for example. Then who do I go to?
Mm-hmm.
Reddit,
Mm-hmm.
Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
so there's this gap here of like, I suppose like high quality professional, but not the financial advisory sort of status. That's
And
where
it's
we,
interesting to it seems to me that like long term, it's going to be really interesting to see where you guys take this, because long term there's a lot of different ways that it could evolve out into different things, right? Look, kind of on what you were saying, John, right? Because you're going to have a core of users who are financially literate, who are analysts, who are providing value, and that's really, I actually found it really interesting because you guys haven't created a native token as a form of incentivization or like value provision, right? Which is kind of cool because you guys have effectively, you're almost providing a platform for like P2P value provision, because everybody who comes in and does these reports gets to read everybody else's reports. And don't get me wrong, you could go up and do a bunch of reports and earn some bounties on it, and that's all well and good. But if you just identified the next 1000x gem, that's your real value right there, right? That's the actual key behind it. I thought it was really interesting that you guys didn't tokenize that, because you could have, but it doesn't seem like it's the best. It's necessarily the best. If a token, we were talking about this offline before, if a token doesn't fit, there's no need for a token, then don't do it. But it does allow you kind of things further down the line because you'll have that little core. But like Todd was saying, what do the end users do? The people, I have no idea about finances. I have no idea about economics, but I know I really want to make some cash, right? But you can't really come into the core like Arbela where it is now, because it's about value exchange. But there has to be a way from a business model to say, all right, now we can start providing that value out to people. Still, it seems like you've got a lot of options, a lot of things to play with.
exactly right. And so we have to narrow our focus down so that, we could like work on it really well and provide value and then scale that.
Yeah,
for sure.
So
iterate, right?
So what was the logic, Hannah, on in respect to, I always find that really interesting, right? Because I'm of the same opinion as well. If you don't need a token, don't bother with a token. We see this frequently during a bull market, right? Where people just create tokens for no bloody reason, and people buy those tokens for no bloody reason as well, which is just as ridiculous. But hey, I guess we're humans. So what was the thought process behind not going down that route for yourself and your co-founder?
So we didn't want to be like, we still young. We want to be adaptive. We want to be quick. We want to be flexible. We don't want to come up with like an economic model. DAOs, I suppose, like when you come up, because we were originally going to be a DAO with a token and everything. And DAO is great when you have a common purpose. But as Jared said, this platform has so many possibilities, and that's like up to the community members to also decide. So we didn't want to lock ourselves into an economic model where we think it will be good for everyone else. It's just, two of us thinking of this economic model. So we want to see how the community organizes itself first before thinking about a native token. And I don't think there is a need for it because there's no internal demand for
it. Despite the blatant logic of what you just said, there are some, I'm not going to say names, but we've seen projects that had absolutely no need for a token make token, right? So anybody that's watching, you're on to a good thing when they use logic. So you've been mentioning community a lot, and obviously you guys are community driven. And I guess, when we look at what we're doing with Black Tie and Be For Real, like we're all about democratization of opportunities, right? So I guess from your perspective, how do you see, like you look at the next 3 to 5 years, how do you see Web3 being I guess, a positive vehicle for community-driven projects.
Yeah, I suppose like it creates a new way for people to write and own and monetize their own content,
Yep.
right? And it's a fair way, for me anyway, my personal view, it's a fair way for creators to monetize their content and connect with other people as well. And thinking beyond like 3 to 5 years, when you're talking about the future, what is the future? For me, future is like Gen Z and Alpha. Gen Alpha, the oldest of them is 12 to 13 years old now. Sorry if stop me if I go on a tangent. But
Do
Gen
it.
Alpha is,
I've
yeah,
spoken about
so
Gen Alpha before.
I'm passionate about this because Gen Alpha, they live in the digital world, like Roblox and Fortnite, right? And what do they do for fun? They create, and they create in these worlds. So it's natural for them to create in digital worlds.
Yeah.
And to them, their digital world is part of themselves. You know, if people offend you online, you're able to separate that. Whereas for the younger generations, they have the tendency not unable to separate that. So they take it personally if you offend them online, and then they 12, 13 years old now, what happens when they grow up to be old enough in the workforce? These young generations has been like creating, right? So now they're gonna be like, oh, why is a central entity controlling my content? Why can't I monetize it the way that I want to? So Web3 technology enables them to create and make their own money and control their own data.
Yep.
So it's not being like farmed out or manipulated. Did you know that there's 1.7 billion people without a bank account?
Yeah, the unbanked.
Yeah. So without a bank account, you can't access like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can live without my bank account.
Yeah,
So Web3 technology allows those people to be connected to the financial system if they have an internet connection.
exactly. Which is a big thing, right? Because, as feels weird saying as first world citizens, but I guess it's kind of what we are, right? But like
Yeah.
as people in the West, we do have a lot of privilege in regards to, there are a lot of things that we take for granted, right? From the light, our technology, good internet most of the time. Um, wink, wink, myself. um, so yeah, and there are entire cohorts of people that literally don't have a bank account, they don't have enough food, they don't have any fucking clean water. So I too believe that, yeah, Web3 does provide a vehicle for these people to start to, you know, access parts of the world that they previously haven't had access to. And like, there are some really intelligent people that don't get to use their intelligence because they're not blessed to be born in the right place, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all they need is a laptop and an internet connection, and boom, they can start to build things, which I think is, it's that whole idea, right? The more brains that you can get focused on a certain thing, I think I said it earlier, right? The more creative input you've got, the greater the better the output. And that's the whole.
Law, man. Well, I think that's actually really interesting, Hannah, and it's particularly the perspective on the Gen Alpha and the creators. I was talking to a guy who he's part of a blockchain project over in, I think, Switzerland or Sweden at the moment, and he's probably not in that alpha group, this mid to today. He's definitely Gen Z though, and he's a blockchain native. And it kind of put things in perspective because I'm a digital native, right? I grew up at a Pentium, not even a Pentium, a 486 back when I was like 8, right? So I grew up with computers, but blockchain is not like I'm not a social media native, and I'm definitely not a blockchain native. And now the new generation is coming along, and they're going to be part of this. And it's really interesting the way that perspective, because I'm very much, while I'm sitting on the edge, still a lot about kind of like the older, like your real world assets and your old school use cases, bringing blockchain into it. But it feels like there's a lot of people now who are looking at having that integrated into the use case from the start. This isn't an add-on. This is part of the core value proposition. This is what we're doing. We're building. We're creating. Digital native is the same as building in the real world, and this is just a tool that we use to really bring it out there. Kind of roughly correct on that?
Yeah, 100%.
and I had a similar perspective with some of the NFT guys. Shout out to NFT Oz and some of the other crews out there. But NFTs are one of those ones that people love to bag NFTs, right? It's just the stupidest. Oh my god, what are you throwing your money away on a bloody JPEG? And I think from a commercial perspective, it's not necessarily entirely wrong, but it was after hanging out with the NFT scene and some of the artists, not just the artists, the builders, the creators, the promoters, the people who believe in like what it's about and the power of community and what they're really trying to do. You kind of get these light bulb moments where you're like, oh, wait, hang on, I kind of get it now, right? So definitely perspective is a pretty interesting one.
Yeah, well, I think of it like this, right? So when you see someone on the street wearing a Rolex, you know what sort of community they belong to. Or like, Birkin plays this stupid game for a bag. There's
Mm-hmm.
they just like hide
Mm-hmm.
bags on purpose, make girls chase around, buy other things before they introduce you the possibility of buying a bag. So for me, like NFT is the Rolex of this generation. It
Mm-hmm.
represents a community, what that community does, the status, and yeah, what they about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think, and it seems like a lot of this is all coming back to even when you're talking about kind of Minecraft and Roblox. There's still a lot of community, right? I think you'd still find people out there building, castles, forts, mine traps, bloody computers, all the rest of it in Minecraft for the simple pleasure of it. I don't think it would have gotten anywhere near as big as it did if there wasn't a community behind it. Because when you want to build, you want to share it as well, right? Kind of makes sense. What's your thoughts then? Let's bring it kind of a little more concrete for us old people, as Todd keeps referring to us, around kind of like the real, because we're obviously working in the real estate and crypto space, right? We tend to get a lot of questions around kind of metaverse stuff. And I think there's some really cool interactions further down the line where the traditional real estate market can have, you've got digital duplicates, walkthroughs, all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. Probably not all that imaginative compared to what some of the things people are coming up with out there. But we do have a bit of a focus on kind of real world asset tokenization or integrations for blockchain and Web3 into non-digital environments, I suppose they'll be termed. So what are your thoughts around that? Securities, commodities, even things like chains and supply and data verification, all this kind of stuff. Where are you seeing it going?
I think it's an exciting space. Obviously, there are a lot of legal hoops to jump through, but it is an exciting space because it connects the Web3 to Web2 officially. It creates that bridge there. And there's a lot of benefits as well. For example, like fractional ownership, right? It provides access to more investors. And if you're talking in a DAO context, the community members can have a direct say over like what's the basket of assets or what type of underlying assets are being tokenized. Therefore, the community decide the value of the token, and this incentivizes those community members to participate in the project. And there's so many things as well because like it provides like an additional tool to raise capital. It's allow for faster and efficient settlement. And one thing I really like about tokenizing real world assets is that the income distribution, you can't cheat that, and it will always be delivered on time, more accurate and more frequent as well.
Look, I think it's a positive thing. My thoughts on tokens that effectively are backed by nothing and represent nothing, right? I think that when you look at, I'm obviously thinking specifically about tokenization right now. So when I'm thinking about like tokenization of real world assets, like that for me, I feel is like the next thing that's going to take off, right? In that it's actually something that's got value behind it. That's the reason why I'm so excited about the whole tokenization of real estate. It's like, fuck, it's like the realest asset you can freaking have, which is a damn house, bricks and mortar, right?
Got the word in its name.
Exactly. And the the whole democratization of it too. I feel like, there's one thing that everybody deserves to have, and that is, a house over their head. Yet more and more we see this disparity between the amount of money that people earn and the prices of something such as a house or property. So, when you look at that fractional piece, which you spoke about earlier, Hannah, I feel like that's a really big, I guess, something we need to focus on strongly and make happen at a larger scale than it currently is. Because, not everybody has $100,000 sitting there to be able to go put on a house. But, most people that have got somewhat, I guess, their finances in order can at least get maybe $5,000 or $10,000 together. They can use that, put that into some sort of security token that actually has an asset underneath it that produces a yield. And then slowly that person can start to generate some additional income, right? Combine that with their regular income that's coming in, then they can buy another asset, and slowly they can start to build a wealth portfolio. And if you combine that with something like what you guys are doing at Arbela, right? Giving them good intelligence to make good investment decisions, along with other, I guess, wealth strategies being taught to them. And, we've got this, the boys at Breakout Solutions, they're giving like financial education, right? Which is desperately needed by not just young people, but even old people too, when they're looking at Web3 opportunities and they get the wool pulled over their eyes, right? Because they're like a boomer, they want to do something, but they don't really understand it. So they get taken for a ride. So, there's a lot of gaps in the market that I feel will start to be filled over the next couple of years. And obviously, what we're doing with our piece, with the tokenization of real world assets, we're stepping in there. And based on what you've said on this podcast so far, Hannah, you guys are stepping in and providing intelligence to a place where there typically is not intelligence.
Yeah, I want to add on top of like tokenizing real world assets in the context of like early stage projects as well. So one of the best things you can use capital for is, funding startups, funding new ideas to give new jobs, right? Imagine if you can, as Australian investors, you can easily, through tokens, invest in emerging markets. So startups in Vietnam, startups in Africa, it just provides an easier way, like through DAOs or whatever method, to provide capital to those areas for them to provide jobs and innovation. I think that's so cool to me.
Yeah, so you do like
that's a really
tokenized equity
and social equity as well.
Yeah, like actual productive capital.
Yeah.
As we said, we kind of want to, do well by doing good, do good by doing well, right? Like there's no point just being completely idealistic and wearing a hair shirt and no shoes and kind of, sacrificing yourself for the good of humanity, because you're not going to get anything done, right? Capitalism is not perfect, but we're kind of, we're stuck with it right now, and there are some advantages to it. So why not leverage them? And if you can do stuff like that, provide funding and capital to emerging markets, it's a powerful play. Although I have to say, just to, I'm still, well, you're wearing black actually as well, so I can't claim that one. But to play the devil's advocate kind of thing, I was looking at some VC stats the other day, and it's only, is it 1 or 2% of VC plays end up returning positive outcomes in the first couple of years? Could be a little bit pessimistic there, but how do you see a risk factor there? Because I'm still going to chuck my 2 cents in, and I'm going to doom and gloom this the whole way just because you guys have been so positive. But do you see a risk factor there where we're opening up in a way by providing accessibility and democratizing opportunity? We're also providing accessibility and democratizing the ability to lose money in risk ways which we've never been able to do before. Yeah.
Democratizing risk, baby.
So I've never played the pokies, but I turn off all of my wallet notifications because that dopamine hit when my bag's gone up 15%. Like, oh yeah, maybe I should just chuck a little bit more in there, right? We're hardwired for this stuff.
So Jared, just to understand your question, right? So you want to democratize this access to a variety of investors, but then you, let's say, offer it to someone that has like no financial knowledge or like a bad actor.
I suppose actually in context of what Arbela's doing, it's probably a little bit of a stupid question because realistically what you're doing is providing the intelligence de-risks it in the first place, right? Okay, so there we go. There's the answer to the question. From a Web3 perspective, very risky, huge problems, right? The answer, Arbela. Cool. I was watching a few videos. There's a company over in Europe, Block Square, I think, who are also going down the fractional path. Very cool bunch of people. I've been watching quite a few of their videos, but they were referencing a paper which was put out in the last couple of years by a professor. I can't remember which university, but it was over in Europe, and they were talking about what was called the liquidity premium, right? So if you have two identical assets, so you've got the same house, but you're selling it twice, right? It's like a classic Golden Gate Bridge kind of situation. This house you're selling as an asset for $1 million. This house you're selling $1 million $1 house tokens, right? A lot easier to sell $1 million $1 tokens than it is to sell one house, $1 million house, right? This one you've got to find that one buyer who wants it, and then when they want to get rid of it, they need to find another buyer, so it's nowhere near as liquid, right? This one, highly liquid, much easier to sell $1 million $1 tokens. And they're talking about how there's been some calculations done and how accurate they'll prove to be will be decided in the future. But the tokenized version of that asset will attract what they're calling a liquidity premium, which is expected to be anywhere to about 20 to 25% higher than the actual value of the underlying asset, right? Which I think is a really interesting idea. But what it also raises the question of is, where's all this going to go? Where's it going to lead us, right? Are we going to end up in this situation where we're all kind of like slightly tribalized, where I'm in my DAO and you're in your DAO? Nobody owns their own house anymore, right? But I own a bit of your house and a bit of your house. You own a bit of my house. We're all paying rent to each other through these like kind of decentralized, and then all of a sudden there might be this illiquidity premium where it says, oh, hang on, you can't walk over the line here because this isn't owned by a million people, it's just owned by me. You know, I think
you'll own everything and you'll be happy.
More of a rant. Yeah, exactly. You'll own everything and you'll be happy, right? That's where I see the future going. None of this, you'll know nothing. We'll all own everything. But it really feels like if you take the opportunity here to its maybe not quite logical and natural conclusion, but definitely its potential conclusion, the nature of society from an ownership perspective gets completely upended, right? All these paradigms are going to have to be completely rethought, which is actually kind of, the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, shit, change. Maybe it is a bit scary. But also, change is just another word for opportunity, right? So we can do it better.
Well, I think
what are your thoughts? I wanted to turn that into a question, not a rant.
Yeah. Sorry, Todd, you go first.
Yeah, I was just going to say before you jump in there, remember everything's cyclical, yeah? So even though we're now moving more towards this decentralized piece, it's always a pendulum. So as we go out this way, it will swing back eventually. That's just the way that it goes. So anyway, I just wanted to chuck that in there. I was going to go on a rant about the fiat system, but I controlled my impulse and I'll let you talk about that.
I think Black Tie Digital comes up with a solution that is like trying to solve that problem instead of actually like fractionalizing individual property. I think that I don't want to get this wrong. You guys fractionalize this fund, this mutual trust that holds the properties, right?
Big focus, yeah. We're going to be we have our own funds. So let's just talk about the one at the moment, but new developments and portfolios / funds tokenization.
Yeah. So to me, like that's super cool because like it's like that's how I think about ETFs, right? So you buy into like ETF and then say Vanguard and something will directly buy the shares themselves. So you therefore are the owners of the shares. Yeah, I think that's how like one way to move forward in terms of like solving that problem.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I think you can have gradual or violent revolutions, and I don't think that I don't think that blockchain, although it feels like the pace of change is speeding up, I don't think it's going to be a violent revolution at the end of the day. If it was, we've had 14 years for it to dethrone fiat and all the rest of it. I think that it'll be gradual, and I think that will ideally give people time to adjust to these new paradigms that are coming out and find out the best way to, implement them, and also to be a part of it, really. And it's funny how all these things are going to come together, right? Because we're talking about changing around the way that the real estate industry operates, and even the way that the finance industry operates. But because we're talking about changing things and then allowing people the participation part, right, the democratization of opportunities, so people actually get a chance to be part of that change. And then that ties back to what you were talking about with the Gen Alpha guys, right, and the fact that they are creators, they are native creators. So this kind of where a lot of people, I think as you go to younger generations, the ability to see yourself as part of that becomes a lot more prevalent. There's not so much of kind of like hands off, shit, the world's just happening with or without me. It becomes, I am a part of this world, I'm an integral part of it, and my decisions count. That's kind of nice.
Beautiful answer.
I guess for those that are watching and listening at home, Hannah, I guess what's your timeline? How can people, I guess, stay in the loop with what you're doing? How can they connect? How can they get involved?
So at the moment, our early access link is on arbela.io. So I encourage people to sign up, and we'll vet you. We'll check out your backgrounds. You can also join us in our Discord to check out other community members and see the quality of members that we have in there as well. And again, we will be launching our beta platform in about 6 weeks, and we
Nice.
want to learn how the communities sort of organize themselves and use the platform to go forward.
Alrighty, guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this first of the Token Talks. It has been a pleasure, despite having various technical issues here and there. Jared, though, do you have anything you want to kind of say before we wrap this up, mate? I've had a good talk. I actually really like what you guys are doing, Hannah. Now that I actually understand it fully, when we first got on the call, I was very tired from moving house all yesterday, so my brain just started kicking into action recently.
Your two brain cells going.
I like that Homer Simpson in my head going.
The day old dancing monkey.
Yeah.
No, I suppose from my end, I just want to say, thanks to Hannah for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'm in the same boat. This has actually been a very stimulating. So, just for the guys at home, obviously, this is a new season of the Black Tie podcast for us, and we will be aiming to have a range of different guests with different experiences and different backgrounds. And I have to say, you've set the bar pretty high, Hannah. So, hopefully we're going to be able to maintain that through the rest of the season. But outside of that, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we're looking forward to watching what happens with Arbela and also being part of the process.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. I think also, Hannah, it will be cool to maybe get you on another podcast in about 8 weeks when you're kind of in that beta mode, so we can kind of do a follow-up and see how things are tracking.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Otherwise, Connor can jump on as well and talks about it from his perspective. That would be pretty cool.
Love it.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
Love it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, you know what to do, or you don't know what to do, because this is a new season, new name. Token Talk sounds great. So here's the deal. Make sure you're following us on socials, and more important than even following us, make sure you go and check out Arbela. It's up on the screen. You can see it in Hannah's top left-hand side, arbela.io. Check it out. Join the Discord. Get into the conversation. If you are in that demographic and you're interested in what we've been talking about, right? Investment, more importantly, intelligent investing, right? Then definitely go and join the community and be part of it, because, this is the next thing, as we've discussed today, like Web3, decentralization, online communities, communities of creators. This is the way the world's going. And the easiest way to stay in the loop is to be in the loop. So make sure you go and check them out. All right, guys, take care. We'll see you in the next podcast.